Thanks again for joining us here at our June Town Hall. We have an exciting event planned for you, including a showcase from Meta, some new product features, new community members, and then a small poll to ask for your feedback and see how we can improve these events to better suit you. I just wanted to quickly remind you that this is a meeting, so whenever you feel like asking a question, just drop it in the chat or unmute yourselves after the presentations from our speakers. And yeah, we'll be responding to them shortly. And also this meeting is being recorded. So yeah, let's move on to the community showcase now. Today we have Meta and Dave Vogt will be presenting from the Product Innovation New Programs team at Facebook. So over to you, Dave, to tell us about the Meta Business Coach.
Yes, thank you so much, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, wherever you might be. My name is Dave Vogt. I work on the business education team here at Meta, and for those of you that are not familiar with Meta, that is the rebranded company name for Facebook, and of course we power Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. The business education team, just to give you a little bit of background, we power educational experiences for different audiences around the world. So whether you're an advanced marketer, a small business, a nonprofit, a student, or job seeker, we power different educational experiences through e-learning, certifications, webinars, live trainings. And now this is something new that we're adding to our arsenal of educational experiences, which is the Meta Business Coach. We can go to the next slide, please. And so what we'll take you through is a little bit of background about this program, why we created it in the first place. You'll see a quick demo here. We'll share a little bit about our results, also our plans through this year and into next year. And obviously we're almost halfway through the year. And then also, if you'd like to check out this experience, you can access that at the end as well. Next slide, please. And so our mission and goal really with this experience is to give people the power to grow their business with mobile first, low bandwidth meta ad technologies education, all through chat. And we can go to the next slide, please. As I mentioned to you before, all of our educational experiences prior to this were really e-learning, web-based experiences. And we had these three key business challenges that we needed to solve for in what we refer to as some of our growth markets from a small business perspective. And that really is in specific markets that we launched last year: South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and India. And this year we're moving into Latin America and several other markets. Was inconsistent user connectivity. So people might be on 2G, 3G, 4G connections that are not consistent. Data might be expensive for some small businesses in many of these markets. And also there was a lack of mobile first learning. As I said, again, most of our experiences were desktop based. And so for us, we had to figure out, how do we solve for these three key things so we can bring more small businesses onto the Meta ecosystem so that they can develop a presence for their business and grow their business. We didn't have to look too far into our own backyard, which is of course WhatsApp. And what's the great thing about WhatsApp for us was that small businesses were already there. Small businesses have been there transacting with their customers for many, many years now through chat. And so sort of build it where they are was sort of our mantra. And we know that also there's over 3.6 billion people across all of our apps. And so from an audience perspective, it was definitely the right approach for us. We can go to the next slide, please. And so diving right into the chat experience, this is really just a highlight slide to give you a sense of the different types of content that we offer. And because we are an educational experiences team, we really wanted to provide a mixed modality experience. People learn in different ways. The bulk of our experience is powered by chat, as you can see on the left-hand side. This is our introductory message, welcoming the small business to the Meta Business Coach. We give an overview of what they can learn here, such as establishing their business presence, growing an audience using free tools, and advertising across our core apps. This is a screenshot of our India launch. And so you can see here they can toggle into Hindi if they choose to do so. We do have different assets sprinkled throughout our experience. And so we have product UI assets. So this is an example of a Facebook post. And then we also have step-by-step infographics, which guide small businesses through specific tasks, such as creating a WhatsApp business account or creating an ad or boosting and promoting a post. We leverage audio limitedly throughout the experience, but we do leverage that to augment some of the different types of learning. And then also video, we keep to about 30 seconds or less, which are very specific actionable items that small businesses can take as they navigate this content. Next slide, please. And so this is an overview of our first lesson. And you can see here that we start with an entry message. It goes into an opt-in experience, which you're seeing here, which is telling the user they're giving us permission to communicate with them. And then you can see we just went past the Facebook menu. So we have 3 different menu selectors, one for Facebook, one for Instagram, and one for WhatsApp. And the user can select which specific course that they would like to navigate through. And then once they're in each of those specific courses, you can see here we're flipping through different modalities. There's images, there's copy, there's audio, there's video. It is all user prompted, of course, and you might have caught in the beginning, we did have some buttons sprinkled in there as well. And what we've seen with the addition of the buttons, we launched without buttons. So since we've added buttons in certain locations, we actually see people navigating faster and progressing further through our content. Once you get to the end of a specific course, it will ask you to navigate if you'd like to go back to the main menu, if you'd like to go to another course, or if you'd like to exit a lesson. And then we also have some other resources that link out. So all of our content is really inside of the bot experience, inside of the chat. We built all this content from scratch. But after the user navigates through content, they then can go to our resources section, and that will navigate them back to some of our other desktop experiences, which might be things like our help center or our certification program. We can go to the next slide, please. And so, many people say, okay, well, how do you find this bot? How did you bring this to market? So we brought this to market through a robust media mix strategy. And so, of course, we did run ads on platform on Facebook and Instagram, but we also did some off-platform digital media outreach. So we worked across YouTube, Google Display, search. We did a test with radio, which was interesting. And we also had some PR out in market across South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. Also, we had a partnership strategy. So if you look here in the bottom left, you'll see some logos of some nonprofits that we work with that support women and entrepreneurs across India and Africa. And also, we did partner with some telcos to reach small businesses through their platforms. So really, we did have quite a robust media mix and strategy to take this to market. Next slide, please. So before we click this ad to show you what one of our ads looked like, this is a snapshot of some of the ads we took to market. You can see in the bottom, those are more static. We had some people-focused ads as well as product-focused ads. You can see the bot image ad at the bottom as well. Our campaign drove over 245,000 people into our bot. And we've continued that work into this year, and we're pushing over 270,000 at this point. And about half of the people that came in to the bot experience interacted with our educational message, which is a really high conversion rate. So really happy with the results and excited to share this with you. What you'll notice in this particular ad, what we're trying to convince is that small businesses can bring their physical store, their physical business into an online domain, which is Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. And so we're demonstrating here that the front door to your business is your Instagram page. And so you can hit play. Great, and we can go to the next slide, please. And so, of course, one of the key things that we wanted to look at after we had gone live was what are the things that we can do to optimize, and what are the key learnings that we glean from this experience overall. And so one of the key things you can see here, we sort of laid out how many clicks it takes to get into the bot experience from an ad. And it's kind of a lot to ask from a user. And so what we noticed is, first and foremost, when you run an ad on Facebook or any digital mechanism, right, there's that first click from the user, and your call to action and your messaging is really important to help the user understand what is the experience that they're about to go into. In many cases, depending on the privacy settings on your device and which device you're using, you may get prompted with this sort of ugly looking message, which is basically saying, are you sure you want to go here? Are you sure you want to go to this link? The next piece is after you've gone past that, or if you didn't get that message, you would go directly into this message, which is, do you want to open WhatsApp, right? You're basically getting an ad and the ad is forcing open WhatsApp on your phone. And the last thing is we have these pre-typed messages which prompted people to kick off their experience. And so what we learned through all of this is that first and foremost, if you do have a lengthy URL, such as the one that's here in the second click, that could be off-putting to many users, and you could find that people are dropping off there. And so what we did to optimize was we actually put a URL shortener in there to make it a little bit cleaner, less daunting, less spammy like. There's not much that you can do about this open into WhatsApp message, but educating users that that's going to happen can be beneficial because, again, we did see drop off between clicks and bot entries, and this could be a particular reason why. And the last thing is what we noticed in the comments was some people were just not familiar with the click to WhatsApp ad experience. And so people would write in the comments, I'm interested, I want to learn more, how can I learn more? So we actually optimized our call to action there. That was very explicit, click the link to access this experience, right? And so being very diligent and very specific with the audience about what you're expecting them to do and what the user experience is going to be is a really, really key, big key takeaway for us. So we can go to the next slide, please. And so, excuse me. So as I mentioned, we launched this last year in Q4 across South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and India. And so for us this year, we're doing a couple of things. So one is we're rolling out new numbers and trying to determine how we do that in a sustainable way. So for example, instead of launching a new number in every single country, we're working on a strategy where we might launch numbers regionally. We're optimizing our content based on the user journey, based on feedback from users as well. We're also rolling out, we have 13 lessons in the experience now. We're rolling out 4 more lessons in the next couple of weeks. Geography and language. So as I mentioned, we did launch last year in India in Hindi and English, and we're going to be rolling out Tamil, Bengali, and Marathi. We're also expanding into Latin America to support Portuguese and Spanish. We're also expanding in Africa to support the Francophone region in France, in French. And then we're also actually, this is something new that we're working on, is we're working on a Ukrainian version as well to support the Ukrainian audience. Nesting into other programs. So we're working with other teams across Meta, where we can actually embed our bot in other programs that support small businesses, women entrepreneurs, et cetera. And then linking from other surfaces within the Meta ecosystem. Next slide, please. So that's the end of this presentation. And so if you'd like to check out the Meta Business Coach, feel free to go to fb.me/growwabusiness, or you can scan the QR code as well. And thank you guys all so much for having us today.
Thanks, David. Do we have any questions for David and the Meta team?
Hi, David, Lizzie. Not so much a question, but a comment. I really like the way that you are targeting and measuring the click to WhatsApp, because I know often that is a new user experience for users. And the fact that you're adding that educational message into your journey is a very, I think, very insightful for many of the people and organizations attending today, because I think we've all seen that it is still new. And so that educational journey does sometimes fall within your scope there and getting users to your service. So that's really good to see. But good to also see the conversion numbers of people actually that are going through the services and education.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think, many people, and we've talked about this a lot, right? Many people are familiar with chat from a customer service perspective. So when we introduce chat for education, it is could be sort of a daunting experience for people. They're just not comfortable with it. They're not used to it. So you're absolutely right. Half of our work is helping people understand that chat can be used for education. And once we get past that hurdle, then it's a lot easier to engage with people and drive them through our experience.
I have a question, David. So in terms of the user experience, what would you say, or the user journey, what would you say is the main difference or a specific challenge that you faced when you compare the user journey on WhatsApp versus the user journey on another platform, like a website, for example?
Yeah, I think it comes down to just familiarity and what people are accustomed to, right? And so we have our e-learning library is over 100 e-learning courses, and our brand externally is, well, it used to be Blueprint by Facebook, and now it's Meta Blueprint. So our external brand is Blueprint, and so Blueprint has been around for about probably close to a decade now. And so it's just a much, more seamless experience in terms of what people are used to, right? If you're on your desktop, you click a link, it opens up into an e-learning course, and you sort of navigate that. I think what's really sort of off-putting for people is just the concept of learning through chat, right? It's not so much that people are not familiar with learning on mobile, because people have been learning in apps for a long time now, right? Google has an app called Primer that is an educational experience through an app, right? So people are not really off-put by that experience. They're used to that. It's really just that pushing people into a chat experience for learning and communicating with some type of artificial intelligence type experience is what people are not used to. And in some cases, what we found in our research was also that people thought that if you are chatting, that you're talking to a real person because of the customer service link, right? You get a package from Amazon or from any other online service, you chat with a person online. And so I think that was one of our biggest hurdles, is just really helping people understand that this is not a person. This is sort of an automated experience that's powered by you.
Right. I see a question coming in. Does the Meta Business Coach help small business use the WhatsApp Business API as well?
It's a great question. Right now, we have 2 lessons in here that support what we call business messaging, right? The WhatsApp API is not a lesson that we support in here right now, but we are working with the WhatsApp team to expand our curriculum in here into next year. So we will be adding in content that support the API.
That's great to hear. Any other questions? I have a bit of a silent audience today. That's okay. If you have any other questions for David, you can pop them into the chat. And yeah, we'll get back to them at some other point during the event. Thanks, David, again.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on, we're going to introduce the new community members we have this month, and I'll hand over to Kanya to do that.
Thank you very much, Carola, and welcome once again, everyone. So in this section, we usually give a shout out and also chat about our newest community members. We also share some information about what they are looking at building on the WhatsApp business platform. So over the next little while, I'll take you through those community members. Next slide, please. So first up, we have the UN Climate Action, which is a WhatsApp service aimed at providing you with the tips and guidance from the United Nations on how to take climate action to help protect our planet. We will share more details about this in a little bit. We also have Climate Action Singapore Alliance, which is an organization based out in Singapore, and together with EB Impact, aims to harness the power of mass communication, strengthen the narrative for climate reformation, and translate public awareness into action. They aim to use WhatsApp to create greater awareness for green jobs and to also highlight key sectors involved in sustainability-related work. We also have an organization coming out of the EMEA region, Greenpeace, which is an independent environmental organization founded in 1971. They use creative confrontation to expose environmental justices globally and bring forth solutions for a greener and peaceful future. They are looking at using WhatsApp to support their work in countries like Kenya, Cameroon, and South Africa. We also have the ICFES, which is a Colombian government entity under the Ministry of Education. The organization's chat service will enable a smoother response to frequently asked questions by Colombian students about their national exams they need to take each year. So through the chat service, the students will be able to query their results, the status of their registration, their certificate of assistance, and so much more. So as mentioned, we'd like to highlight in particular the UN Act Now service, whose overall objective is to preserve a livable climate, reduce greenhouse gas emissions by half by 2030, and to net zero by 2050. And they know that bold, fast, and wide-ranging action needs to be taken by governments, businesses, and also citizens, especially in advanced economies. So the Act Now campaign is the United Nations way of encouraging individuals to take action against climate change and sustainability. So in order for us to access their service, I'd like to encourage everyone on the call to scan the QR code here or save the number and text hi. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Carola.
Thanks, Kanya. Now we're going to be hearing from Indrani from all the updates for the Chat for Impact Bootcamp Series 2022. Over to you, Indrani.
Thanks, Carola. Hello, everyone. I'm Indrani Vedula, and I'm the Impact Partnerships Lead for Asia Pac and India, and I'm based in Hyderabad in India. So today I'll be sharing updates on the Chat for Impact Bootcamp events that we've been hosting in partnership with WhatsApp. Here's some quick highlights. So we kicked off this year's bootcamp events in April and have been running a bootcamp every month, each of them with a different focus area, starting with crisis response support in April, followed by a health-focused bootcamp in May, and most recently, our very first Sustainability and Climate Change Bootcamp in June. We received more than 100 applications for these bootcamps, and many from notable international NGOs, social enterprises, and not-for-profits globally. The audience particularly loved to hear and learn from our community showcases. These organizations presented their live use cases, challenges that they faced, lessons learned, and the WhatsApp-based chat services and solutions that they came up with to scale for impact. We also introduced interactive breakout rooms to get to meet the attendees and learn more about the organizations and the problems that they are looking to solve via chat. Other sessions also included best practices around designing an impactful chat service and the steps to onboard to the WhatsApp business platform. Next slide, please. So our next bootcamp is in July, will be one with a regional focus for Indonesia and Brazil. They are the second and the third largest WhatsApp markets in the world. So we aim to reach out to as many social impact organizations in these countries across various impact verticals. And the details of these events will be shared on our website on the events page. So if you do know any organization that will benefit from attending these boot camps, please ask them to register. The deadline for application is July 19th, so you have time. Next slide, please. So for those of you who have not yet attended a Chat for Impact bootcamp, here's what you will gain. One is a very deep understanding of the WhatsApp ecosystem and how social impact orgs and the world around the world are using it. Two is an opportunity to fast track and onboard your organization's chat service. And last but not the least, an opportunity to learn from Turn's highly experienced teams on designing and implementing an impactful chat service. And with that, I'll hand it over to Milka for a product update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nielke from Cape Town in South Africa, and I want to share our latest product updates with you today. The first one, we wrote about it in our newsletter, but I want to share with you today and just make sure that you are all aware of it. At the start of the year, WhatsApp changed the pricing model from templated billing to conversation billing. So subsequently, we've also updated everything that was previously template billing to now reflect conversation billing. So you'll see the image on the side just shows you, and I will show us a little like a GIF demo of all of this, but you will find it under your avatar and under all your organization details. And what it will allow you is just to track your conversations. You can do it. You can see the count, but you can also see the USD amount. If we go to the next slide, let me show you the demo and show you the page. So once you've clicked, you will see your, if you've got free conversations, you'll see that, you'll see your USD amount. And then you can change between with a drop-down conversation count or the actual USD amount. And you can also view it for this month or last month, and you see the daily breakdown. And that's split between your business initiated and your user initiated conversation. So everything on one page, you can view all the countries, you can view if you have more than one number within your organization, you will also see that breakdown. So just wanted to flag that you guys are all aware that everything now ties back to conversations, as per the pricing model changes. Then the second thing I want to highlight, and I can go to the next slide. Last month, this time, we shared that reminders are in alpha, and it's been our most requested feature to date. So I want to keep you guys in the loop that you do know that we work on it hard. We've extended the testing group, and I wanted to show you a nice screenshot of all of us together on the demo call. But because we recorded for the organizations, you can now only see my face there. But we're busy testing it, and the key is to launch it to all of you at the end of this month. So don't feel that you're missing out, and really already start getting your templates approved. You cannot do reminders without approved templates. And make sure that you work on your user consent. Remember, it's really important that you've got consent from people when you initiate conversation. So while we wait for this to launch to all at the end of the month, make sure that you've got consent, make sure that you have approved templates, and do go through your opt-out journey. Otherwise, your users, if they don't want the information, they might block you unless you give them a clear way to opt out. So that's just to keep you warm and in the loop. And then the next slide, something I'm very excited to share. It's coming soon. So I'd like to keep you guys updated on what we are busy working on. I mean, this is something, so we've also shared that we are doing community interviews, and we get our engineering team to talk a lot more to our customers. And out of multiple of the conversations, we've learned that especially people doing a lot of, let's call it a help desk, one-on-one conversations, maybe with learners. Like there's a quote where when I chatted to Olico Maths, and they said that explaining maths to learners mean that the learners will just take their phone and they'll record a voice note. It's easier to ask a question. And similarly, when it comes to maths, it's sometimes easier to explain it in a voice note. So what we are working on is to make it easy to send custom voice notes. You can already send voice notes and audio files, and you can do it with automation, and you can do it in threads, but we're adding it for you to do it as a custom way. So the little GIF, if you can see there, similar on the custom reply box, there'll be an audio icon, and when you click it, you can start recording, you can pause the recording, you can stop the recording, you can even listen to the recording before you send it. So very excited, and be on the lookout on the forum and also on Learn when we share when it's live, but we will let you guys definitely know. And then the next update, I want to hand over to Simon to share with us.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Simon Dahan. I am one of the co-founders of Turn, and I'm the CTO. I'm dialing in from the Netherlands. Now, as you all know, we are a social impact business service provider. That means our primary focus is to have a social impact, to help organizations in the wider social impact community and the international tech for development community to have the largest possible impact through chat. And this is why we started this company. This is why we are doing all these amazing Chat for Impact boot camps. And this is frankly also why we started the product, to make sure that this community is best served with the best possible tools to have a lasting impact. And so we've been working very hard and thinking around, like, how do we amplify the great work that this community is already doing on Turn, and how do we make that widely available? And first of all, that means we've been focusing a lot on how do we improve our own product. Over the last 2 years, you all know that we have spent a lot of time making sure that social impact organizations can scale. So the work of Meta today, for example, the learning work, similar organizations are doing similar work globally. We've heard in earlier boot camps of the WHO, the UNHCR doing amazing work that really reaches scale and impacts the lives of millions of people. Now, so we know we've solved the scale problem. Now there's a different set of problems that comes up where organizations are starting to get a hang of what is Chat for Impact, what can it do, what are the opportunities? And for us, that clearly signaled a challenge to say, okay, how do we make sure that our product, the tools that we make available to this community, really serve the community best in their desire and as they work towards a greater impact? And so we've developed a next generation engine powering our Chat for Impact services, and it's built on an open flow interoperability standard. We've been working together with the community behind flowinterop.org to implement this standard and also improve on it. And we'd like to announce that we are open sourcing the engine that powers these more complicated use cases. And so you all are already familiar with what we can do with threads. The product is constantly improving. And with this new engine, we are able to support a whole host of new use cases that previously were more difficult to do or simply required more technical infrastructure to achieve the same. And so this open source flow runner that we are making available actually makes it possible to deliver a much higher degree of personalization. It allows you to integrate with existing services. So if you have a CMS with content, an RSS feed with news, for example, and it allows you to utilize the full breadth of WhatsApp's rich messaging capabilities. And so all the buttons, the list menus, you name it, it's all available. Now, this is currently still inside the product in alpha testing in the same way that Reminders was and is becoming generally available. The new engine that enables these features is also soon to become available. And I'd like to show a little demo of what this engine currently can do. And this is an early release preview for you all, but we're very excited because this simply was not possible in the same way earlier. And this is some of the work that we've been doing with Meta as well, and a few other organizations, Nura Health, which you all may know, and our parent organization, Breakout.org, to improve this engine and really address very specific use cases that we believe are high impact and really help organizations both to scale, reach large audiences, but also really deliver on impact through a really engaging Chat for Impact service. So if you can show the demo, just click play. If the sound doesn't work, that's fine. I can talk over it. Hi all, just wanted to show some of the work that we've been doing with the new Flow Runner. You'll see here, this is my assignment testing account. I've got a keyword set up for G Sheet, stands for Google Sheets. And you'll see something new here. It says start a stack. The stacks are something new that are available to few customers at the moment. They're defined here. And stacks are powered by the Flow Runner. We're busy, as you can see, still working on the actual UI elements for this, but this gives you an idea of, on a code level, how this would work. And I just wanted to show you the demo that we've got going. So here you've got a Google Sheet. The Google Sheet that we've got, the little demo for the Flow Runner that we have reads this Google Sheet via APIs and allows you to set the navigation buttons using Google Sheets. So you'll see here, sheet refers to the second sheet, and list will generate a list button with these with the option to switch to these sheets. So I'm going to show you now how that works. So the keyword that I set up for this in automation was G Sheet. So what I'll do now is it connects to Google. It will read the content. It'll read the image. It'll place the text of the content on the image. This is just for a demo, just showing you how you can create dynamic experiences. And it has a next button, as you can see, which is defined here. Now the next one, if we click next, it goes to the next row. And then the next row has different text, but it's got two buttons, next and beginning. And so beginning is marked here as start over, and we can go to where we were earlier, or we can go to next. Next one, you'll see there's three buttons here. Sheet allows you to jump to the next sheet. Beginning allows you to start over, and next allows you to go next. Now, all of these are just demo variables and demo names, and this can all be changed for your specific use cases. It just shows you what the new FlowRunner engine is actually capable of doing. Now, if we go to next, we go to the next row, which has a list. And so it's displayed here. They arrive in different order because it takes the internet a little bit longer to send an image than it does the text for the menu. But if we select this, you'll see you've got the four options: start, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and sheet 4. If we select one of these, then it will redirect us back and have us again starting at the start, and you can select other sheets. So this is now all made possible by the FlowRunner, the engine that we are open sourcing, and we're very excited about its capabilities. Thank you. So yeah, the engine. Am I on mute? No. The engine is going to be available on under the AGPL open source license. Now, this is a demo that really helps organizations with a lot of content to manage their content more easily. So it allows the new engine allows us to define the structure of the menu and the way that we interact with them through buttons, either quick reply buttons or list buttons. But the content itself is actually pulled in real time from Google Sheets. And so as an author, you're able to just set up the kind of engagement that you want initially, and then start focusing on how do I manage the content for that. Now, this specific demo is really just focusing on Google Sheets, but there's a couple of other demos that we can share in the forum that show how to, for example, read the information around a podcast and automatically start publishing your podcasts on WhatsApp, as an example. So we're very excited about these capabilities. It's going to be, you're going to be starting to see this being introduced in the product over time. And like I said earlier, we really believe that this really helps organizations deliver a much better user experience, a personalized user experience at the scale that you all are already familiar with, but just being able to support use cases that are more complicated and really allow for great, compelling and engaging user experiences for your audiences. So that was the update from us, and thanks for me. Okay.
Thanks, Simon. I'm now going to hand over to Manish so that he can give us the community updates.
Hello everyone, this is Manish Manohar. I am community manager at Dahan, and I'm based out of India. So in today's community section, we would like to highlight the interview that we had with Patrick from Alico Maths Education. Alico focuses on providing tutoring at school as an after-school activity. They use WhatsApp chat service to share the resources around different mathematics topics. And they also have tutors who resolve any of the questions that the students might have around mathematical concepts. Let's see a short clip from that interview.
And what would you do? Would you tell the kids there about the chat service, or how does the kids know about the chat service, for instance?
Okay, so we started with our Olico learners using all the WhatsApp group we formed. So we designed a pamphlet and sent it to them.
Okay.
So it started creating, you know, they sent to their friends, you know, that was how we started. And some of the employees or the staff in Olico send it to some WhatsApp group that are mainly teachers. So we used WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups.
Okay.
So our Facebook page, you know,
Okay.
and amazingly last year we were able to help over 10,000 kids,
Okay.
10,000 learners last year. So that was what we are doing. But most recently now, for the past 2 weeks, we've gone on radio, in community radios, in 2 provinces for now, in Eastern Cape and Limpopo for now. Yeah, and we printed flyers and posters and we are putting it in some schools. For the past 2 years, it has been a very interesting, you know, learning experience for us. First, I would say that there are a lot of benefits, you know, helping learners via WhatsApp. You know, we saw that learners are comfortable to ask certain questions, even questions that make them vulnerable. Like, what is -2 times -2? Some of them are scared to ask those kind of questions in the class because they are scared of being laughed at or something. So we saw a lot of benefits. Learners have, you know, the attention of a tutor. So these are some of the benefits we
yeah, so that was a short clip from that interview, and there are like many learnings and interesting insight that Patrick shared with us. Do check it out, the full interview and the article in our community forum. And the link is provided here, and we'll share it again in the community forum. Do join that forum to get the updates. Next slide, please. Okay, today we would like to announce that we'll be running a quick poll now to understand what would you like us to discuss in the next town hall. And the poll is on your screen. If you can just select one of the 4 options. And we'll see if we can give you what you have shared with us, and if we can talk more about these topics that you would want in the next town hall. Great. Next slide, please. Okay, finally, you can reach out to us at our Turn support line, you know that. And there is a link. We have already provided that. You can join our LinkedIn group as part of Chat for Impact community. You can also join our training session that we organize every Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you or your team members would like to attend one, feel free to jump in. And lastly, stay in touch. And with that, we wrap this town hall. Thank you, everyone.